I really do feel like we have to cover this story because I've talked about this before many, many times. And I've said, look, while there is a really good moment of what is it, Schadenfreude, being able to, laugh at other people's misfortunes, when it comes to laughing at Brexit supporters, if they're really determined and they keep on clinging to like the Brexit fantasy and refusing to admit that there are things are going wrong with Brexit, that isn't all going all perfect, that nothing they've said or the Brexiteers said to them is working out, and they're refusing to admit it, then there is nothing wrong with poking fun at them, having a bit of a laugh at their expense about what they're saying. I don't find nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with drinking that nice cool glass of "we told you so" juice. However, when it comes to Brexit supporters that after this fact have changed their mind upon seeing the facts, upon seeing how the Brexit quote they voted for didn't turn out, because I will make this argument time and time again, when the Leave campaign ran its campaign in 2016, they ran a massive, broad campaign to get as many people as they could voting for Brexit. And they lied to people. We know this. This is part of our core argument about the Brexit vote and about 2016, was that they lied to people. And I always make the very clear distinction of, look, there are two groups of people here. There are the Brexiteers, that's people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, Boris Johnson, Michael Gove, Nigel Farage. They are the Brexiteers. They are the one who deserve all the blame, the scorn, the derision heaped on upon them continuously. And then you've got Brexit supporters, and they deserve no blame. They were conned, very much so. And as James O'Brien says, you've got to have, compassion for the conned, not the con men. And we are starting to see that now in ever more increasing numbers, that many people who voted for Brexit are starting to change their minds. And the problem is that when people come out and say, I voted for Brexit, but I'm not happy with what's happened, the way all this has gone, they shouldn't be derided for changing their mind. They should be applauded. This is, and especially seeing it publicly, because that is what we want. That is what we need. If we ever want to really overturn Brexit, we need these people on our side, and to be encouraging them to say, or acknowledge their, the mistake they made in 2016 is a good move. We need more people, to be sort of encouraged. So if you do see a Brexiteer, or a Brexiteer who starts to publicly change their mind about Brexit and regrets voting the way they did in 2016, they shouldn't be laughed at or anything like that. They should be encouraged, because that will only lead to better outcomes when, again, we go to make the big case for rejoining, and we have that campaign. Because a big part of what people don't really talk about, a big part of that campaign will be to convince a lot of people who voted Leave in 2016 that, they made the wrong decision, that they were fooled, that they were tricked, and that ultimately they were conned by the likes of Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, etc., those Brexiteers who made promises that knew they just couldn't keep. We've seen very recently the big furore about, Brexit was meant to be about, lowering immigration, but we've seen, numbers of like non-EU migration increase, and the Brexiteers are absolutely flabbergasted at this. When Boris Johnson went to India and he said, oh, well, there might be an increase in, Indian immigrants, coming here, the Brexiteers, well, the Brexit supporters in this case, were absolutely outraged at this. We always said Brexit isn't how you handle, immigration. And even then, when you want to talk about immigration, it's very, very much a good thing. And of course, that leads to a wider thing of talking about, immigration, but we're not talking about that today. But that is where we need to come from now. We need to sort of turn around and reach out to these people and say, it's okay if you want to change your mind. We are not going to deride you or laugh at you. We're going to encourage you and support you in saying, yes, welcome on board for saying that Brexit was a bad idea. It hasn't gone well. None of the promises that the Brexiteers made in 2016 have ever come to fruition or will come to fruition, because again, as we've made very plain and very clear, not only do they not understand international diplomacy, they do not understand how international trade works, they don't understand how UK as a country and its trade and its industry and its economy works. You know, this is what we need to really be focusing on now. That's where we need to be going. And I make that plea to everyone in sort of like the the European movement. Do not be so quick to chastise these people for changing their mind. You should be welcoming them into the fold, because that is what we need more so than ever. Because we can see very, very clearly the damage that Brexit is doing to this country. Brexit is responsible for at least rising prices of food by at least 6%. You have Adam Posden, who came out and said that Brexit is responsible for like 80% of the inflation that we are currently having. The Bank of England came out really recently and said, because of Brexit, it's causing all these problems. We might have to declare a recession. All these problems caused by Brexit, the idea that Brexit was, quote, done and dusted in 2020 was obviously a complete lie. Brexit was never, ever going to be, quote, done by then. It was a lie by Boris Johnson then, it is a lie by Boris Johnson now, and it's a lie by any Brexiteer who wants to continue to campaign on that idea. And of course, with even Jacob Rees-Mogg's only recent comments of saying bringing in these import checks on EU food would be a disaster for our economy, to be just move them on a year later. Well, I've said it now. I've said it very clearly quite now. When we get to move on to like a year's time, those checks are going to be moved forward again a year. I'm just going to move forward again and again and again and again, because there is no clear answer to the Brexiteers' decision that this was going to be a good thing. They had magical thinking that they could just do this and it would all work out for them. It was, we'll do Brexit, and then there was nothing beyond that. And you can very clearly see that in sort of their reactions today to many of these Brexit problems. They refuse to admit that the problems that they are seeing today are caused by Brexit. So our inevitable victory is only a matter of time. But if you want to speed that up, welcoming people who voted leave back in 2016 into the fold is a way you can help speed that up. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.